Hi Flosstube, welcome back to my channel, NBC Stitcher. I'm Matt and this is Augie, and this is another Flosstube episode where I talk about cross stitch. I have a little bit of life update and then a little bit of book discussion at the end if you are care to stick around for that. So it is Thursday, June 30th, 2022, and it's been more than 2 weeks, closer to 3 weeks, since the last time I did a video. And there's a couple reasons for that. First of all, shortly after I did my last video, I had something happen here at my house where my air conditioner went out and I had to get it repaired, and that took a lot of time because I went through a warranty process, home warranty situation. Also, I went out of town to go to StitchCon, and so it was only yesterday that I actually got back into my house with an air conditioner that is functioning. And in Oklahoma, and this time of the year, that's kind of essential. So I was living in with my parents, as was Augie here, and let's just say we're very happy to be back, both of us. Me, because like I don't really have a space. Well, we ended up getting there where I had kind of there's a middle bedroom that I ended up using more as like my space, and that helped a lot towards the end. But initially, I was just kind of sleeping on the pull-out couch in the living room, and that just is not ideal. One, it's not particularly comfortable, and two, it was kind of like not really. It was different. It's not like when I lived there and I had like my own room, I had my stuff, anything like that. It was difficult to do for an extended period of time. If I have to do that again, I am glad I now have an air mattress that we can set up and we can use that in the middle bedroom, and that will be much better. But I think Augie is also happy because my parents have a new puppy. Since when we lived with them, they did not have a puppy. He's almost 10 months old. So, and he is full of energy. His name is Mozart, and he is a poodle. And he is full of energy, and he wants to play a lot. And Augie is not a dog that likes to really play with other dogs very much. By the end of it, they actually got to doing some of that outside. Essentially, Augie would chase after Mo, and Mo would run around, and that seemed to work really well, actually. If we can get them to do that more, that kind of helped them be okay with each other around. Because at first, Mo was trying to play all the time, and Augie's just like, can I pee, please? Because I would like to do that. And when Augie is frustrated, he barks a lot and a lot. And that is difficult to be around because he is loud. You are, but you are a good dog. And so by the end of it, we actually got to a better place. And we're definitely going to do more play dates with the dogs so that they can be around each other more. And hopefully it's easier if my parents have to watch Augie, because that's the other part. Like when I was out of town, when I was there, it was easier for me to take Augie to the bedroom, or like, separate them easier that way. When I'm not there, it's harder for them to deal with it. So that happened. I went to StitchCon, weekend B, and then I came back, and a couple days later got the coronavirus, or tested positive for coronavirus. It's the first time that I've had COVID, so it's been not too bad. For the most part, I feel like I've recovered, but then there's some like lingering fatigue and stuff. I didn't ever lose my taste, but I did get like my there was a few rough days, and so that was put a cramp in everything. And but I am getting back, going to the office, able to do that kind of stuff, which is helpful as well. Trying to work from my parents' house was also very difficult because the lack of like working off of a laptop in a space that doesn't really have like, it's not really set up to work efficiently from, is difficult. So I'm much happier to be back in my house, have the air conditioning, have an air conditioner that works, and going forward. So I'm very happy. The other downside of this month was a lot of the recent Supreme Court decisions and a lot of stuff that's going on that's very depressing and very troublesome for the future for lots of people. So that is kind of the life update. I realized last week, or last time I did a video, I forgot to do my tchotchke corner that I had started to do a couple videos ago, and I even added one, and this was supposed to be discussed. So this little gnome is a little porcelain, or like, yeah, I guess porcelain gnome that I received for my birthday from my friend Kathy. Kathy is actually one of my boyfriend's good friends from high school, and she loves gnomes and she gives them out at different things. So I got one for my birthday, and so he gets to come up here and stay up here for now. I did see like I think it was a TikTok or maybe a reel on Instagram of like somebody that's taken one of these kind of gnomes and painted it rainbow and along the lines of the Progress Pride flag, and it's like, sent it to Kathy. It's like, for next year, just thoughts. So there's that. I will do a second one since this is, I forgot to do it last week. So this is a little owl figurine, and like, it breaks apart and you can hide something inside, and it has a little magnet so it stays there. I picked this up at the Funky Fayetteville Flea Market. I think it's something like that, in Fayetteville, Arkansas. It's kind of like, like a antique store type of, with different stalls, and they have some like antiques and stuff, but then they just have like, some people have just like prints of art or different things that they've put together, kind of curated, and just different stuff. And I saw this little owl figurine and I liked it, so I picked it up last year, or well, yeah, I think it was the end of last year. So those are the two. When we have another video, we'll do another one. I do want to say one last thing from my last video. I mentioned at the very end that I was going to do a whip parade. Because of losing air conditioning and not being in my house, I didn't do that. So I do have everything pretty much set up to where it will be easy to do. I just am trying to find the block of time to do it. So that's a possibility for this weekend, maybe. We'll see. There's some, I don't know, we'll see. It's coming though. I will do it soon. If not this weekend, then next week. So let's see what else. Well, I think that's pretty much it of the all of those things. I will talk about StitchCon more when I get into all of the haul and things and Stitchy Kindness and everything, so that would be nice to do. I guess let's go ahead. So as far as like timing wise, I don't anticipate this to be a super long video. Well, I don't anticipate the stitching portion of like what I've stitched recently to be all that long, because I worked a lot on stuff, but I was mostly limited on the different projects, so I don't have that many different ones to show. But let's start off with my StitchCon start. I had planned to do this and it worked out and I'm able to do it. So this is the new design from Rebel Stitcher. This is called Flowers Grow Back. And this is a flower Quaker that Rebel Stitcher Colleen designed, and one of her 3 patterns that she's put out. This, along with one other one, was released at StitchCon, and so you could get it there. She does have them in PDF format on her website now. I have also purchased the PDF because it is Pattern Keeper compatible, and which it works great with Pattern Keeper, and I love it. So it uses, they also had available at StitchCon, and I purchased it there as well. I got the pattern. I also bought the floss pack, which it calls for 6 cottage garden threads and then several DMC as well. And so at StitchCon she had floss packs for all of it, and I picked that up. And the cottage garden threads are amazing. I haven't put them on a ring yet, but I'll show you. I've used a couple of them on this, and they're really great. So kind of, and then everything else is on floss drops because I like using floss drops, and then we had lots of people giving them out, so I did a lot of that. But that's all 6. Okay. So let me go through the cottage garden threads that it calls for. This is eucalyptus, which is a nice green, kind of yellowy green to teal color. Jacaranda, I don't know if I'm saying that right, which is a nice purpley lavender color. Bird Bath, which has a bright teal to purple variegation to it. Daisy, which is like a pink to like orangey pink. Nightshade, which is dark purple to like a dark, or like a almost burgundy, but not quite. It's really pretty. I like that one a lot. And Heliotrope, which is a purple and like fuchsia purple. Very pretty. So, and then there's a bunch of DMC. So, which I'm not going to go through all of those. But it is a beautiful pattern, and I have a nice little start on it. This is in a Linux Stitch bag. This is from her quarterly bag club. This was from March, which is this East Asian bunnies, which I really liked. And okay, so here's how far I got. You can see after, and then one full motif and part of another. So this is on 36 count linen. It's from Be Stitch Me. It's called Petunia. It was in the spring box. So it's a nice, pretty pink. I think all of the colors should work. I may have to kind of, maybe fussy cut is not the right word, but kind of use part of the colors. Now it doesn't, I think it should come out great. I'm looking forward to it a lot. So I started in the middle, and I got the after, and then those things done. I did get this rainbow flag from Rebel Stitcher's trunk show there at StitchCon as well, and then somebody giving out needle minders gave me that other one when we were there, and so I put it on because it's another rainbowy needle minder. So that was my StitchCon start, which I started on Friday because the annex didn't open until Friday. And then, okay, warning, Augie is chewing on an antler, so there may be some like scratching sounds or like, yeah, that kind of stuff. So there's that. I also got this, I put it in there because at the time I bought it, but this is another Rebel Stitcher Designs needle minder that I got, Self-Rescuing Princess, which I thought was very appropriate with Obi-Wan Kenobi, and which is a great show on Netflix, or sorry, Disney Plus. You should check it out if you like Star Wars. It's really good. I really enjoyed it. Okay, everything else, I don't have any other finishes. I don't have any finishes. I just have whips for the rest of this. So, first up is the one I probably worked the least on, but I did one, take her with me to StitchCon, and then I decided to work on her, so I did get a little bit done. This is Cleopatra, Queen of the Nile, from Bella Filipina. That's what the pattern, the picture on the front looks like, and I mostly worked some more on her dress. So I didn't get a whole lot done, but I did a little bit more fill in here, essentially, in one of the nights of the late night stitching room, because it was like, I'm gonna work on this, and then I did for a little bit. Met a lot of great people at StitchCon, a lot of new people to meet, which was really fun. And yeah, so got to see some people I've known for a while but not in person, and so that was fun. Yeah. Okay, then let's talk about Star Wars. Self-Rescuing Princess. So this is the Naboo travel poster. This is a black and white photo, but essentially that's what it looks like. It is by Country Magic Stitch, and it is a vintage style travel poster, full coverage piece that depicts the planet Naboo from episode 1. And so I started, so I'm trying to get to 75%, which is 3/4 of the way done, and would be 3 of 4 pages. And so I'm not strictly following the page lines, but I'm gonna get myself up to 75%. And I got quite a bit done. So a lot of this up here I filled in, got the clouds working on here, and filling in, starting to get up here. I've completed several colors. I essentially have this, there's a big part of the blue sky, and then a moon, or I think it's a moon that you can see, and then a lot of fill-in of the other sky colors, so with some clouds. So I am working on this. This is on an 18 count white Aida. This is one of my oldest whips, which is actually one of my Whip Go goals for July, is to work on my, to choose from my 5 oldest whips and work on them, for 5 days. I can work all on the same one, or I can work on multiple ones or whatever, but this is definitely gonna get some more love because I'm trying to get up to 75% and I can get a page finish, which would be great. I don't think I might get this done. I doubt it, because it's a lot, and it's a lot of stitching. So, but I'm very excited with what I've gotten done so far, and I am moving towards a finish. I did one of these, the Hoth one. I finished it in 2019, I believe, but I didn't work on very many projects that year. That was also before I found Flosstube and lots of other things, and so I was able to get that done, but it was a lot of focused stitching, which I like doing, and I probably was not as productive overall, but because it was one of the few things I worked on, I did get it done that year. And then I started this one, I think the end of 2019, or the early 2020. I think it's the end of 2019, so it's definitely one of my oldest ones. Okay, next up, another well-seasoned piece. This one I didn't get quite as much progress on, but I did get some. This is Forest of Sumatra by Ink Circles. As I showed last time, I had gotten a page finish I moved over to the final set of 3 pages on this side, and I have been working. I kind of extended out the border. I started working on this tree, and I'm making my way up. So my goal is to get this done, this bottom page, and I've kind of like mapped out, like I want to get this whole tree. There's another thing like this, and I'm gonna get part of that, maybe the other tree, and that'll be the full bottom page, what I'm counting as. And then that's the goal, is to get that done in July. So right now, anything I've been working on this is just kind of like getting me a little ahead for July. So I have been often working just one strand or one length. When I say length, I mean like it's 2 strands that I'm using. So this is 36 count linen. Toast is the colorway, and it's by Be Stitch Me. And so I'm using the called for thread, which is Gloriana Sumatra is the color. And so I'm using 2 strands over 2 on 36 count. I like the coverage on it quite a bit. And yeah, so when I say a length, it might be, you know, how far I get with 2 strands, but like, you know, put it in and work it. So like this much or something. I try to do that every day, or I will especially once July hits tomorrow. But if I want to work on it, try to get myself on track to get that done next month, or the page finish, and then be done with it this year. That is one of my goals. Okay, so this is my other piece that I've progressed the most on. And this is Modern Folk Embroideries Move Forward in Love. And here, you can see I've done quite a bit. Now I have posted a lot of this on Instagram, so this one is probably not as surprising. I haven't posted the Star Wars one yet. But this is on 36 count linen. The color is Iris, and it is by Under the Sea Fabrics. I had purchased it from Fire Poppies, which sadly is gone. But, and then I changed all the colors to a toile, except for the white. I'm using B5200 instead of the called for Blanc. So this is 100% uncalled for colors. Imogen X Stitch, who, if you do not watch, you should go watch their videos. They have 4 of them up so far. They were discussing how we called it, not, you know, like the called for colors, and then as a, you know, kind of centering back on it, that this is the uncalled for color. So I made the decision to choose this, and this is the uncalled for ones. But I'm using a toile, so it has a little bit of sparkle. You can't really see it on the video, but in person you can. You can see it some on the Instagram pictures. And so I am doing a little bit of changing of some of the colors. These little flowers were pink and yellow, and I'm changing them to pink, white, and blue to go with the trans flag. And then I'm making some changes to the flowers out here as well. And then the birds. Okay, so see the little bird? That is not the charted bird. Imogen also loves animals with hats. Also, I should mention that Imogen is the inspiration for Jacob to create this piece in the first place. But I know Imogen from Virtual Stitchers and talking on Instagram, and they did a lovely set of birds that they're going to use when they get to doing the birds. Charted them out and gave them a little wizard hat. I took the wizard hat and shrunk it. Like, I'm still doing over 2 threads this way, but I just went over 1. So instead of like, you know, it was like, you know, a square or a rectangle. So I shrunk it down, I smushed it, and it gave this lovely little Robin Hood looking hat to it. And I just really like that. So that's what I'm gonna do. I moved them over a little bit so they're not reaching the stem there. And then we will, that was my test one. I did it and I had to move him, so I had to frog it out and put him back in. And then I will add the birds in to the other spots as well. He should not have another, that should just be, everything else should fit around doing it this way. I think that's what the situation is, but I've got a stitch more to find out. So, yeah, and I did a bunch of this at StitchCon, and I've got some big blocks to fill in here that'll be nice to use, but I'm trying to spend time on filling in the green leaves or the little other things, snippets of stuff, and so I'm just trying to get that going. Then the needle minders here, again from Rebel Stitcher, we've got David Rose from Schitt's Creek. It says on his sweater, I'm trying very hard to not connect with people right now. And then there's this Miss Vanjie needle minder, which this was something that Colleen got, but it's not her design. So she made it in a needle minder and sold it, but it wasn't that was repurposed and not it's not her own design that can do more of. So there's that. But I really like this. I will also need to move the Q-snap a little bit to get kind of up here, but it's really pretty close. I'm not going to do there's a single strand border or single stitch all the way around border, and I'm not going to do that. At least that's not my plan. So I am over 50% done. My goal is to get this done by the end of July, which I think is easily doable as long as I stay focused and continue to work on this. That will happen. So I'm gonna keep doing it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, and this is my first, I think I had this, I showed it last time, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, because Colleen commented. But this is my very first Genevieve of Jasmine's Custom bags, which is great. It is, I love the rainbow Star Wars fabric. I love the little accents, the leather accents. It's great. I really, really love this bag. And I love, because it fits in 11 by 11, and so it's great. Okay, it also has a little pouch in the front, but I mean, you could put stuff in there. I guess I could put my floss in there, but I didn't. I don't. Last project. This is The Year in the Woods by Cottage Garden Samplings. I am still working on the fox, and I also got another needle minder I forgot here. So I have been working on this. I did take this to StitchCon, and I have worked on it some outside of that as well. But this is the fox. This is the first one in the series. I will probably skip ahead to the eagle after I finish the fox, because I'm looking to find Grecian gold for the goose, or the swans. Sorry, not the goose. The swans. I need that color before I can do that, and I just really like the spring animals, so I'm gonna skip ahead to do, or the summer animals, the bear, the eagle, and then the owl. I love all of them, so I'm gonna skip ahead to do those. But we've got a lot of progress. I was able to fill in a bunch of parts of the fox here, and I've still got quite a bit to do. There's a lot of the trees still need to be done, the little cabin needs to be finished, the tail, but I've got a good amount of progress. Maybe I'm about 50%, maybe a little more, not more than 60 though. This is a 40 count linen from Be Stitch Me. It's called Gray Magic. It's from her Woodland Bundle series. She did a set of 4 colors for this project, kind of to go with, or that would be similar to the ones that were the Picture This Plus fabrics that were original, like that the designer called for or model stitched it on. So since I'm using 40 count, I can use one strand, and then I can also fit all 3 of them in a panel of a fat quarter. So I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to frame it that way of all 3 of them together. So I started with the fox, and he's coming along nicely. So I haven't worked on him in a few days, so I need to work on him. That's all the stitching. Now let's talk about gifts and haul and everything I got from StitchCon. So first of all, some of the things that I got were, and there's kind of a pile, so I'm gonna have to kind of go like the order is what the pile is in, not what, not chronological or not anything like that. But my friend Kate, Stitchy Aardvark, got little bags with things in them and gave one to each of us at the table. There's no post-it notes, a pen, there's a little, there's some needles, there's some floss drops, there's a scissor and sheath protector. I think, what did I call it? Well, I don't remember. Something like a scissor nipple or something, yeah, and then there's also, well, it's over there because I've used it. There was a seam ripper, a little seam ripper too. So this has been great. I love having another little Notions pouch that I can use to take my stuff around with me, and it has got the stuff that I need. So that's amazing. Kate also gave me my birthday present, which she had said was going to be coming, or she's going to bring it to StitchCon. So this is, is it? I don't know if the maker has a tag. Who is it? Oh, I don't remember the name, but they're on Etsy and they make these great bags. Kate has given me one before, but it's super big. You can fit an 11 by 11 in it. And I knew exactly this is lovely polar bear fabric. I knew exactly what I was gonna fit in it, and it's Polar Pack, which is the Plum Street polar bear piece, and so my Q-snap with the fabric fits in there. Now there was a couple other things in here. So there's a lovely little Read with Pride little canvas tote that I could put Notions in as well. And then a little corgi sticker, which I will use somewhere as well. So thank you again, Kate. I loved it. And it's definitely getting use already. Okay, now another present, another belated birthday present, was from my good friend Cheryl, who hopefully you will get to see soon. I'm trying to get her to come on and do maybe like a special edition where we introduce Cheryl, because I think she'd like to do Flosstube, but she might need somebody to, we're gonna try it. So we'll see. But Cheryl also got a bag for me, but she got it at the annex there. And this is one of the Lin-X stitch bags, which I love because they're big and you can fit an 11 by 11. They got the vinyl front. I love this fabric. It's just so pretty. Little stylized ginkgos and or ginkgo leaves, I think that's what it reminds me of. But yeah, I love these bags, so very happy. I know what I'm gonna put in there. I didn't grab it to put it in there, but I do know. And then, okay, so at StitchCon, you get, we got these lovely little tote bags, which say StitchCon on them. They're a nice canvas, and they fit a lot of stuff. And they were really useful because it was like, I'm getting more things and I need space to put them. We got a little passport that has all the stuff in it, or information. They gave us a journal with a pen and everything, and it works great. I'm very excited to have another journal to use and easily using the StitchCon one. And then there were some freebies and some like the logo and different patterns that we got. And then a lot of people just like brought stuff around. I handed out quite a few of my agate slice needle minders to people, and there were people that were handing out needle minders, a lot of floss drops, and so there was a lot of that stuff too. There was a lovely lady that brought around these paper box like holders, essentially like you could use as an Ort holder. It was holding a lot of my floss drops that other people brought over. There was another lady that gave out, oh, she's on here. Tanty Teeny Stitches. She handed out chenille, like it was the yarn, she cut it up, you could use this like around the edge of something, finish it. So I also got Cheryl had some stuff she was putting on the freebie table, and she's like, if you guys want to look at this first, please go ahead. And I was like, yeah, I'll take that. So there's some coloring cotton colors of cotton thread. We've got olive brown here, red woolen mittens, which is a nice like and Christmassy red, yeah. And Carolina blue. It's very much Tar Heels color. And somebody else brought around DMC, and I wasn't there at the table when it was being passed around, but my table mates got me an 827. Nice, lovely light blue. And okay, let's do so I participated in the Smalls Exchange, and so I'm going to go through that in a little bit, but some of the other stuff, the freebies that we got Garon Stitchery gave out these needle containers. They've got a magnet in them and they're metal, so you can add your needles and kind of keep them all in there. I met these ladies at the late night room, but this is Stitchy Fix. They are a Flosstubers mother and daughter team, and they were there, Chris and Victoria, and I'm pretty sure it was Victoria. It's the younger one. I really need to go watch their video. They have several of them, and they looked really fun. But I haven't been home to do much Flosstube watching. I haven't caught up. I'm still trying to get through the latest Pam and Steph video, which is like 3 hours and something, and I've spent several nights already starting to watch it, but I'm just getting a little bit. Which I got to meet Pam and Steph. They're great. They are just as amazing in person as you would think watching them, and yeah, I really enjoyed that. I look forward to being able to meet them and hang out with them at a retreat that they're not working at, because I think that would be easier to like get to know them more when they're not distracted by, oh, I gotta go deal with this or other things. So anyway, but lots of people were handing out floss drops with just different things. Birds, there's these animals. There's all sorts of great things. Oh, this was the Pam and Steph ones. So they've got pictures of themselves as kids. So this is Pam, and this is Stephanie. And yeah, there's so many, there's too many to really go through everything. Table mates, aside from Cheryl and Kate, there was also Erin and her mother Denise, and then Carrie, who joined us as well. And so we had a lovely group. Erin had a bunch of beeswax little things that were there, like bees and beeswax. So there's that. There's a lot of floss drops. And I've got a bunch of extra magnets and stuff for my things. One of the ladies was giving out these cool scissor fob things, or something to add to a zipper pull, which is just really cute. I like that a lot. Cheryl made these. Mine has survived so far, but some of the others have not. So I hope it survives, but it's very cool Canada and StitchCon colors. So my let's see, those are mine. It's not now. Got this a little farm quilts. Nice little zipper pull to add to things. Oh, there's another one that's in the other room. But there are just lots of great things. So in my that might be. So I participated in the Smalls Exchange, and Sue is who I got her Smalls, and it came in this lovely box. It's very cute, and then it has a lot of, she included some stickers of some stitchy related things, some Stitchers lotion. This is raspberry and orange, and there were several other things. I think there was some candy that I've eaten. I think that was part of it. I'm sorry, it's also been a little bit, but the actual stitched things, there were two things. I got a double. First up, we got this lovely needle book, which I don't really have needle books. So this lovely little piece, and so it's finished with this fabric on the back. It's got a couple needles in there, one of which is a beading needle. So, yeah, or sharp at least. But yeah, it's a great little piece, really cute. And then this amazing scissor fob with it's got 2022 on that side, and then with a tomato, and then a lovely spool that has, straight stitch and everything, and then a little tomato at the bottom. It's great. This is so cool. Enjoyed that. And then, yeah, a lot of needle minders, lots of things, lots of floss drops. So thank you, everybody. And okay, so let's talk about haul. So from StitchCon itself, you have a couple things you can go to. They have an annex of trunk shows, essentially, of lots of different designers, makers, so bag makers, fabric dyers, cross-stitch designers, a whole bunch of stuff that's in there. Excuse me, and it's all great. And I picked up, well, okay, so let's go, we'll do this in this part we'll do in chronological order. So, what happens is StitchCon starts Thursday afternoon at noon. And so they open up the annex Thursday afternoon to preview. You can look, but you cannot buy. You can kind of get an idea of what's there, kind of make your plans for the next day or the weekend or whenever. So I went and I was looking around, saw lots of things and was like, oh, that's nice. And then I saw this fabric and I was like, I need that. I need to come back tomorrow and that's my number one, like I'm coming to get this right as soon as the doors are opening. And I did. So do you want to see the fabric? So this is the piece that I got, and I ended up getting a half yard because I really love the color. But this is a Jody fabric, 40 count linen, and so it doesn't have a name, but it's just this beautiful gold color, right? Like, isn't that just amazing? I loved it and was like, yes, I need that. So I was kind of thinking, so I've been looking for something to do an alternate color for Autumn Quakers by Rosewood Manor. And this was this is a possibility. It may not be a good possibility. This might be too dark because I think there's some colors that it would clash with, but I also knew I'm gonna find things to stitch on this. And it's a gorgeous fabric and I wanted it, and that was definitely happening. So it did, and I got it, and then there was, and then while I was in line to get the fabric cut, I saw another piece of fabric and was like, ooh, I need that too. And so I also purchased the, this is Ada, it's from Atomic Ranch Fabrics, and it's called Christmas Night, and it's 16 count, and it's a beautiful dark blue, gorgeous color. I love like a dark Ada because you can still see the holes, and it's just, and I did get the whole yard because especially the Ada prices were really good, and I mean, this is, yeah. So I did get a whole yard of this one. And they had this in 40 count or something similar to this in 40 count linen, and I was like, ooh, that's really pretty, but that's gonna be really hard to see. And sometimes I like having a piece that I can easily find the holes and it'll work. I did realize there's also something in here that is from one of my table mates that they were gonna put on the freebie table. I believe Denise dyed this, or maybe Erin did, but it's a 28 count Lugana, I think, and they hand dyed this, and they weren't gonna use it for what they thought they were, and so they put it up, they were gonna put it on the freebie table, but I was like, oh no, I will use that. So another little piece of fabric too. Okay, so then what happened next? Yeah, so then it's Friday, and we have, you can also take the Stitchy bus, or you can go to, you don't have to take the Stitchy bus, but you can also go to Keepsakes, which is the local needlework store in Cincinnati, or Sharonville, and that he puts this on. Barbara of Keepsakes is the owner of Keepsakes. Stephanie works at Keepsakes. All of the things that, so you can go to their shop and then shop there as well, which I did. And I got a few things there. So I showed last time the 'Tis the Seasons from Blackbird, the cardinal with the French saying, and I was like, ooh, what if I get the silks, the called for silks, the Belle Soie, and they had them, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna get those. And so I found all of them. I didn't get the white one because I have some white silk that I'm just going to use. And then I did change the red. I went with a little bit deeper red. I think it calls for poisoned apple, but I got tulip instead because I like that color a little more than the washed out stuff. But the other things, I mean, I think I didn't make any of the others. I didn't change any of the other colors, but yeah. And then I was like, okay, well, what about fabric? So I found another piece of Jody fabric there that is 36 count. And I was like, ooh. And it is a fat quarter. And it's this gorgeous green. Look at that. I think it's gonna look great on there. I think it's gonna look great. I think especially the red is gonna pop super well. Yeah. So that is, now I've got like, okay, I got all that as keepsakes. That is like from my first time going to StitchCon. This is like a memory, and I'm not starting it yet, but I will, this is a plan. It's gonna happen. And yeah. So there's that. I also found this other piece of 40 count from Color and Cotton, and it's called Applesauce, and it's a nice yellow, goldy yellow, like light gold. I think this may actually be the one that I end up using for Quaker, Autumn Quaker, but it's at least another option. And it's also another color that would easily find something that I could do with it. So I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm not shopping anymore. I have done my damage. And then there's raffles. And so there are some like door prizes and things that they give away as well. But then there are raffles that you can purchase raffle tickets. Every year they change what they're doing it towards. This year was towards the book bus, I think. There's a post about it by Barbara on Facebook. Well, it might be in the group you can't see, but it's also on Instagram, and you can see that one. But essentially, it is a retired teacher from Cincinnati has put together this business where she goes around and she sells books out of an old VW bus, and then the money she makes off of selling those books, instead of like as income, she then turns around and buys books for underprivileged children and libraries, and to give to share the wealth of books. And so we were donating money to her to then turn around and buy books and then supply to the community that we're around. And together, between the 2 weekends and Keepsakes also donating money, we ended up donating a combined $20,000 to this amazing project, which is really cool and really exciting. To see that and just to know that that's going to make a big impact. So, okay, so I had my table mates and I, if you were there, you may know us from being table 2. We are so the first night, they do them 2 nights, but we had kind of done this thing sort of like by like, I don't remember who started it. I think it may have been Erin or Denise that started it, but we each had gone and purchased tickets, and then we shared our tickets. Like, because you could buy, if you buy $5 worth, you get 6 tickets. They're $1 ticket, or if you get $5, you get 6 tickets. So you get $10 worth, you get 12 tickets. And so we had all purchased some amount, and then we had shared some of our tickets with each other. And we had purchased, our tickets at different times. Like, I had purchased like some, and then I come back and got some more, and then Aaron and Denise had purchased different times. Carrie also participated in this. And Kate and Cheryl did more the next day to share, but we all did this like we're sharing with each other type of thing. And so that's happening. The drawings start to happen. There is a $50 gift certificate. And I was like, okay, well, because I was like, I don't know what all is going to be given out. And I'm like, well, not everything is like my style, but if it's something that like you all want, unless it's a gift card, I mean, I'd probably be up for sharing. And then I won the gift card, which there was a $50 gift card, and so I was like, I won that. And then Aaron at our table also won twice, and Carrie won a Garon tote bag, project bag, and then I won another prize, which was the digital subscription to Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine for a year. And so I was like, oh wow, like we're getting like, so we won quite a bit on the first night. We didn't win any the next night, so it was not cheating. There was none of that. We were doing what we like, we shared the luck with everybody, and it worked for us. It worked for some other table the next night. There was actually quite a few people that won in another table the next night. But anyway, so I got a $50 gift card, and I was like, okay, well now I need to spend this. So I went, the next day I did go to the Annex, and I found this project bag, which I love, another Lynx Stitch project bag. And I also got another piece of fabric. So this is the inside of it, right? Isn't it gorgeous? It's an African fabric, and it's just so pretty. Okay, and then this is another Atomic Ranch fabrics. This is called Joy Lynn, and this is an 18 count Aida. And again, I thought this was a gorgeous color. They had this in like 36 count linen, I think. I was like, or maybe, yeah, I was like, ooh, but that would be hard to see. But it's really pretty on the Aida too. So I got this is a half, I think. Yeah, a half. So I got those, and then, that was more than the $50 a little bit, so I made up the difference or whatever. But yes, so it did not stay in my pocket very long. I spent it the next morning, but so it was a great time at StitchCon. I do have a couple like non-StitchCon haul things to show. This is just some things that have come in. One thing that came in before, and so this must have come in like the next day after I filmed last time, but we some color and cotton. I'm in the Brights thread club for cotton. Well, I think they only have color cotton, but this is Purple Iris, which is a nice pretty color. Rhubarb, just kind of dusky pink. Citron and Lima. Denali, it's a beautiful color, and Petal, which is another pretty pink. So that I am also in the, I think it's every other month, but Rebel Stitcher is doing a thread club for Cottage Garden Threads, where it's 4 colors. And because they come from Australia, they're a little more expensive than other cottons, but they are there is, you do get, I think it's 8 meters. $10. And then you also get, they're also environmentally friendly, or environmentally conscious, I think is, but yeah. So Water Wheel is this color, this like dark gray color. Mailbox, which is a red and kind of brown color. Quinn, which is a teal, gray, blue variegation, which is pretty. And then Indian Lily, which is a red and blue, beautiful color. So that was the 4 that came this time. And then I also get Threadworks as a nest egg, which is from 3 All Threads. And so we're getting to the end of the alphabet, but so this one is 10-8-10, which is Williamsburg Rose. It's a pretty dusky rose. 1107, which is Wildfires. Pretty yellow-red color. 1073, which is Trick or Treat, very orange color. 1056, turquoise blue. Nice, pretty color. 11620, which is Tumbleweed, just a brownish color. 10581, Teal We Meet Again, which is a little more green than teal, but I guess it is teal. 11611, Tropical, another variegated green, pretty. 1008, Vanilla Ice, so that's like a light blue and kind of cream color variegation. 1152, Very Berry, which is like a mixed berry. 1047, Tropical Green, another green variegation. It's a little more yellow green than this other one, than the Tropical. So Tropical is greener, Tropical Green is yellower. Okay, so that's all the Stitchy stuff. I do have a little bit of book talk to go over, but that's about it. So if you're coming back next time, see you in a little bit. If you want to hear about a couple books, then stick around. Also, I will say I did finish Obi-Wan Kenobi, that finished last week. It's really good. I think I already mentioned that, but I definitely recommend it. Okay. So first up, I'm going to talk about A Lady for a Duke, and this is by Alexis Hall. It's the cover photo. This is a trans romance book. The main character is a trans woman, and the storyline is set in Regency period England. After the Battle of Waterloo, this Violet, the main character, was believed to be dead, but she was rescued by farmers and recovered, and took it as an opportunity to come back to the world as her true self instead of as the young nobleman that the society viewed her as before. So she is coming back. She luckily has a very supportive family in the story. Her brother takes over her title, and then she becomes a lady in waiting, or a companion, because she's not a lady, a companion to her brother's wife, so like stills around a lot of the same people. Anyway, she has a best friend from growing up and everything, that he has a younger sister that is of age to start to come out for a season, and to find a husband, and she's not doing that, and he, who's a duke, is kind of taking the loss of his good friend very harshly, and he's also was wounded in Waterloo, and so he is not, he's adjusting to being the not the man he is versus dealing with all the things that he's lost. And so this is Violet and her sister-in-law go to try to help the Duke's sister, and then also thus helping the Duke, and then it kind of flows in. But it is a very good story. It's a very beautiful love story. It's not, I mean, Alexis Hall also did Boyfriend Material, which I really enjoyed. And this is very different setting and everything, but it has a really nice feel to it. I enjoyed that quite a bit. Okay, now I just finished yesterday or the day before, maybe 2 days ago now, The Prince's Poison Vow by Haley Turner. So this is the same author that wrote the Soulbound series, which is a male-male romance series set in an urban fantasy setting. That's Soulbound. This is a steampunk fantasy series that has some adult love scenes at times. I think this is more like, this is a steampunk story, but there are spicy scenes, like the sea storyline. And it follows several different characters versus just like one central couple or something that her previous story had kind of revolved around. I loved this series, or this book so far. I'm really looking forward to a future one. So it's steampunk, it's on an other world. Essentially, the inhabitants of this planet are humans. They traveled there thousands of years ago, and ended up on this planet when their starships fell off, their colony ships went off course. And so they landed on this planet. It's pretty inhospitable to humans. They had to kind of adapt, like biologically and alchemically to survive here. There is a magic system. There are a group of beings called star gods. There are 6 of them that kind of have a hand in, I don't know if they're immortal, but they certainly are very long lived and live for thousands of years. And they have been kind of ushering the humans on this world through the different ages that they've experienced. The other thing that's on this world, which is native to this world, is a zombie species, or zombie plague, I guess. It's caused by a spore organism that seeks to infect dead things to take them over, and then causes them to then find other dead things to kill and reproduce and that kind of stuff. There's also like poison fields that can kill people, and then they can come back as zombies. They're called revenants, but they're essentially zombies. And so that is already happening on this world, but they added humans, so now there are human zombies instead of just like animals and stuff. Okay, so long time ago, these people crash landed. The star gods are kind of like ushering them through. They have magic. Lots of people are magicians. It is like you have to be born with the ability. And essentially, the way the magic system works is you have like the ether that magicians can manipulate, and the manipulation of the ether results in spells. And then the most powerful level of magicians most magicians need a wand to do their magic, and that is and a wand has a substance called a clarion crystal, which is also native, or they found on this planet as well. So magicians can use wands with clarion crystals to effectuate magic. Now, the highest level of magicians do not need clarion crystals to perform magic, and they also have access to the most like powerful versions of ether spells and specifically starfire, which is super concentrated fire that the wielder magicians can use. And typically, if you can wield starfire, you are from a royal family of one of the countries. There are lots of different countries, and they all work different. Well, there's 6 countries, but really 4 that are discussed in this story. So it starts off like in the middle of a coup, where this queen has been killed, and then several of the star gods have intervened to. One of them is behind the coup and stole the oldest daughter. The queen had a middle son who was taken by one of the other star gods, and then the youngest child, who had not even been registered onto the genealogy, which you find this out at the end in the like glossary section, but because of the way people like when they came to this planet, they tracked genealogy because it was a way to show which groups of people were surviving and to not pass on undesired people that wouldn't survive on this planet. And so they have these genealogies, and then they also used to define like royalty and nobility in some countries based on these genealogies. Some do not pay attention to that, but so anyway, so the this central nation called Ashion is in the middle of a coup. One of the star gods is perpetuating the coup by having the neighbor country Daijal, which was originally, they were one country and they broke off a long time ago in another civil war. So the star god that favors Daijal initiates this coup and then steals the oldest daughter and kind of keeps her as a puppet to the Daijal king, and to kind of going on that way. The middle son is taken by another star god, or actually 2 of them together, and protected and taken away to a group called the Wardens. They are very similar to they make me think of like the Witchers in the Witcher series. They have been alchemically altered, and they have to better survive the planet. They are more immune to poisons that are native to the planet. They are also more resistant to revenant bites, and they are trained to kill revenants, to use poison weapons against revenants. And their job is, they are not aligned with any one country. They can generally go wherever they want to, free passage in other countries, and they can their job is to hold back the revenants and to extinguish poison fields and things, because this is not like it's just in one spot. They kind of like pop up in places, and then you've got to get rid of them, and the Wardens are kind of like the group that is assigned to do that. They're said to patrol the borders between life and death, or the living and the dead, and so that's their job. They typically do not allow magicians in, but the star god gets them to make an exception, or like kind of conceals his magic in a way. And so he grows up to be a warden, and then the youngest, that is an infant, is taken away by a young other nobleman from Ashion. His family, the rest of his family is killed, and he takes the child away with one of the star gods, and the star god replaces a young noble family's infant with the royal child. They know it's happening, but the star gods have an ability to like make humans do things, and like that's what happened. And then the young nobleman who was like witness to the child being saved and help save the child from the palace. He went to a neighboring country, which operates. They seem kind of, well, they give him a Scottish accent in the audiobook, but they have a clan system of governing, and then they also are very active in what are they called? Airships trading, and so they are also very active. There's a big mountain range their country is separated from the others, that there's not easy access, but they are very active in the airship business and airship trade, and so he goes over there and becomes a member of their society. So that's kind of like the beginning, and then it kind of flashes forward to lots of years later when the infant is a young adult. The eldest daughter is married to the king's son of Daijal and is trying to do lots of things, and the middle son is a warden and is getting involved with, there's a southern country, or I think it's southern, I haven't seen a map, but I'm imagining it would be southern, that is the Sulayan Empire. That I may not be, I don't think I'm saying that right, but the warden gets involved with the prince of that empire as well. And then the oldest daughter, she is married to the king, but she has a assassin bodyguard, Blade is the title, Terlin, who is her lover and really her protector and everything. So they are one of the storylines you follow, but they are antagonists as well. She has been a prisoner of the Daijal court, or a hostage, and then Daijal has used that to kind of influence the continuing government in Ashion, but they haven't fully taken over, and so she's involved in that. And then you've got the warden to the south, or I think to the south with his, and getting involved in another country, and then the infant that was grown up in the far eastern provinces with a bloodline that's not related to the royals, and she is kind of coming up into her life and gets involved in the rebellion within the country, her homeland. And so it's a very interesting story. There's a lot of things going on. There's a lot of political intrigue, a lot of what's going to happen next. And then you don't fully understand, and I still don't, what the goals are of each of the antagonists. And so that's really interesting. I have seen them described as ends justify the means, which I agree with, morally gray. I'm not so sure. I don't get what they're doing that would be beneficial except to them. And so that I don't, I guess kind of but not really. There's a lot of things. This society, the Daijal country especially, has this thing called debt bondage, which is debt slavery. If you default on your loans, then your children could be sold off into slavery. And it's really gross. It's supposed to be, but it's there's a lot of reprehensible things going on. And so I'm I don't get why it would be gray. I think they're just antagonists. They are interesting and but they are very much you're seeing both sides of these groups of people interacting. And I definitely have one. I guess it's some people like the Sith and stuff from Star Wars, but anyway. But it's a very interesting story. I think it's much more an actual fantasy steampunk story than it is a romance story. I mean, there are sex scenes that are described, but it's much fewer and much more on the other side. So anyway, that's the 2 books that I have to talk about. As I said, I really liked the other one, or liked that one. I like them both. They're very different though. So yeah, I will, but that's the end of it. So hopefully I will get my Whip Parade filmed soon and be able to do that and then share everything with you, and we will get to see everything. So I'm not going to insert a bunch of stuff from StitchCon because I didn't take a bunch of pictures like I should have, but lots of other people did, so please go watch some of the other recaps. There's some really great ones out there, and get some of all that. So I hope you all have a good one, and I'll see you later. Bye.